"We are here to end this," he said firmly. "You have no power over us." The bad man's laughter echoed through the room, and a violent gust of wind knocked over several pieces of equipment. The thermal cameras captured the image of a dark figure moving rapidly toward Daniel. Instinctively, Daniel held up the crucifix. "In the name of all that is holy, I command you to leave this place," he said, his voice unwavering. The figure recoiled, and for a moment, the room was silent. Then, the spirit box crackled again, and Eleanor's voice came through, clearer and stronger than before. "The truth beneath the house," she said, her words filled with urgency. Daniel and his team exchanged glances. "Beneath the house?" One of the researchers repeated, puzzled. Determined to follow Eleanor's guidance, the team moved to the basement, a place they had seldom explored. The air grew colder as they descended, and the oppressive feeling intensified. They searched the basement thoroughly, and after hours of painstaking effort, they discovered a hidden door behind a pile of old furniture. The door creaked open to reveal a small, dank room. In the center of the room was a trapdoor, its edges worn with age. Daniel felt a surge of anticipation and dread as he opened it, revealing a dark, narrow tunnel leading further down into the earth. Equipped with flashlights and cameras, the team descended into the tunnel. The air was thick with dust and the smell of damp earth. The tunnel led to a cavernous underground chamber, its walls lined with strange symbols and markings. At the center of the chamber was a large, ornate chest. Daniel approached the chest cautiously. As he touched the lid, a powerful force seemed to pulse through the room. He opened the chest to reveal a collection of old, tattered journals, relics of the Blackwood family's dark history. As Daniel and his team read through the journals, the full extent of Gregory Blackwood's malevolence was revealed. Gregory had been more than just a cruel man. He had delved into dark rituals and forbidden magic, seeking to bind spirits to the house to increase his power and wealth. Eleanor had discovered his plans and tried to stop him, resulting in her untimely death. The journals also contained instructions for breaking the curses Gregory had placed on the spirits, including Eleanor. Armed with this knowledge, Daniel and his team returned to the main hall, ready to perform the rituals needed to free the trapped souls. Under Daniel's guidance, the team prepared for the final confrontation. They set up a circle of protection, using symbols from the journals, and gathered the necessary ingredients for the ritual. As they began to chant, the house seemed to come alive once more, the walls creaking and the air growing colder. The bad man's presence manifested, his rage palpable. "You cannot undo what I have done," he snarled, his form flickering with dark energy. But Daniel and his team continued, their voices steady and strong. The air crackled with energy, and the shadows in the room seemed to writhe and twist. Eleanor's spirit appeared, her eyes filled with hope and determination. With a final, powerful incantation, the room was filled with a blinding light. The bad man howled in fury as his form disintegrated, his dark energy dissipating into the air. Eleanor's spirit glowed brightly, her form becoming more solid and serene. As the light faded, the house grew still and quiet. Eleanor's spirit approached Daniel, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you," she said softly, her voice filled with peace. "You have freed us." With those words, she vanished, her spirit finally at rest. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the house felt lighter and more welcoming than it had in years. Daniel and his team, exhausted but triumphant, knew that they had done something extraordinary. They had uncovered the dark legacy of the Blackwood family and brought peace to the tormented spirits that had haunted the house for so long. The house at the edge of Ravenswood was transformed. It became a place of learning and healing, a sanctuary for those seeking to understand the supernatural and to help those trapped between worlds. Daniel and his team continued their work, dedicated to uncovering the truths hidden in the shadows and bringing light to the darkest corners of history. The house, once a place of horror and fear, became a symbol of resilience and redemption, its dark past finally laid to rest. Yet, it remained vigilant, ready for the next chapter in its long, storied history, a history that would continue to unfold, one story at a time. As the years rolled on, the house at Ravenswood earned a reputation as a haven for the paranormal community. Researchers, historians, and those with a keen interest in the supernatural visited regularly, each adding to the growing body of knowledge about the house's history and the spirits it had once harbored. Despite the newfound peace, Daniel remained cautious. He knew the house had a long and tumultuous history, and he feared that the darkness might one day return. His vigilance was warranted, for deep beneath the house, something stirred, something that even Gregory Blackwood had not fully understood. One crisp winter morning, as snow blanketed the town of Ravenswood, a new visitor arrived. Dr. Helena Frost, a renowned archaeologist and expert in ancient symbols, had come to study the markings found in the underground chamber. Daniel welcomed her eagerly, hoping she might uncover new insights into the house's dark legacy. Dr. Frost spent days meticulously examining the symbols, cross-referencing them with ancient texts and her own extensive research. One evening, as she sat with Daniel and his team in the library, she shared her findings. These symbols, she began, pointing to a series of sketches, are not just protective or binding. They are part of a larger, more complex ritual, a ritual designed to open a gateway. A gateway to where? Daniel asked, his curiosity piqued. Dr. Frost looked grave. A gateway to another realm. A realm of darkness and chaos. The room fell silent as the weight of her words sank in. The team realized that Gregory Blackwood had been meddling with forces far beyond his understanding, and in doing so, he had not only trapped spirits but also opened a door to something much darker. As Dr. Frost continued her research, the house began to exhibit signs of disturbance. The once peaceful atmosphere grew tense, and shadows seemed to gather in the corners of rooms. Visitors reported feeling watched, and strange noises echoed through the halls at night. One evening, as Daniel and Dr. Frost were poring over an ancient manuscript, they heard a low, ominous rumble coming from the basement. Rushing down, they found the trapdoor to the underground chamber wide open, cold air seeping out. "We need to close it," Dr. Frost said urgently. "If the gateway is opening again, we could be facing something far worse than before." Daniel nodded, his face set with determination. "We'll do whatever it takes." Gathering the team, Daniel and Dr. Frost prepared for the most critical ritual they had ever attempted. They needed to not only close the gateway but also ensure it could never be opened again. Using the knowledge from the ancient texts and Eleanor's journal, they crafted a complex series of incantations and protective symbols. The night of the ritual, the house was eerily quiet, the air heavy with anticipation. The team descended into the underground chamber, their footsteps echoing off the stone walls. At the center of the room, the chest lay open, its contents scattered as if disturbed by unseen hands. Daniel and Dr. Frost began the ritual, their voices rising in unison as they chanted the ancient words. The symbols on the walls seemed to glow faintly, reacting to the power of the incantations. The air grew colder, and a sense of dread filled the chamber. As they reached the climax of the ritual, a dark, swirling vortex appeared above the chest, pulsing with malevolent energy. Shadows writhed within it, and an otherworldly howl echoed through the chamber. "Hold steady," Dr. Frost shouted over the noise. "We're almost there." Just as it seemed the vortex would consume them, a brilliant light burst forth from the crucifix Daniel held, pushing back the darkness. The shadows recoiled, and the vortex began to shrink. The ground trembled, and cracks appeared in the walls, but the team held their ground, their voices unwavering. With a final, powerful incantation, the vortex collapsed in on itself, and the chamber was plunged into silence. The oppressive darkness lifted, replaced by a calm, almost serene atmosphere. Exhausted but triumphant, the team knew they had succeeded. The gateway was sealed, and the house was once again at peace. In the weeks that followed, the house returned to its tranquil state. Daniel and his team, along with Dr. Frost, documented the ritual and their findings, adding to the rich history of the house at Ravenswood. The house, once a place of fear and darkness, had become a beacon of knowledge and hope for those seeking to understand the supernatural. Visitors continued to come, drawn by the stories and the history. The house stood as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of knowledge to overcome darkness. But even as it stood in peace, the house remained vigilant, its long, storied history a reminder that the past is never truly gone. It waited, ready to face whatever new challenges the future might bring, confident in the strength and courage of those who called it home. Years went by, and Daniel Blackwell's research center continued to flourish. He and Dr. Helena Frost became close colleagues, their combined knowledge unraveling many of the house's lingering mysteries. The team expanded, attracting experts from various fields who were fascinated by the house's complex history. One summer, a new researcher arrived, bringing with her a fresh perspective. Emily Harris, a young historian with a specialization in obscure occult practices, joined the team. Her passion for uncovering hidden truths was infectious, and she quickly became a valued member of the group. Emily had a theory that not all of the house's secrets had been uncovered. She believed that there were deeper layers to the story, hidden clues that could reveal even more about the malevolent forces that had once plagued the house. Emily spent weeks poring over the journals and manuscripts that had been collected over the years. She noticed a recurring symbol that had been largely overlooked, a small, intricate marking that appeared in the margins of several documents. The symbol, she deduced, was a key to understanding the deeper rituals Gregory Blackwood had performed. One evening, as she studied late into the night, Emily stumbled upon a hidden compartment in the basement. Behind a loose stone, she found a small, leather-bound book. Its pages were filled with Gregory Blackwood's handwritten notes, detailing rituals and experiments far more sinister than anyone had imagined. Emily's discovery sent shockwaves through the team. The book revealed that Gregory had not only sought to bind spirits, but had also attempted to summon and control entities from other realms. These entities, once summoned, could bring immense power but at a terrible cost. As Emily shared her findings with Daniel and Dr. Frost, they realized the gravity of the situation. Gregory's experiments had been more dangerous than they had ever known. The rituals described in the book had the potential to open new gateways, unleashing unimaginable horrors. The team decided to conduct a thorough investigation, using the newly uncovered information to ensure no remnants of Gregory's work remained active. They knew they had to be cautious. Any misstep could trigger a resurgence of the house's dark past. The team began their work, carefully examining every inch of the house and its grounds. They used advanced technology to scan for hidden compartments, electromagnetic anomalies, and other signs of supernatural activity. Emily's keen eye for detail proved invaluable as she identified subtle clues that had previously been missed. One night, as they explored the attic, they found a concealed doorway behind an old wardrobe. The doorway led to a narrow staircase descending into a forgotten part of the house. The air grew colder as they descended, the oppressive feeling returning. At the bottom of the stairs, they discovered a hidden chamber filled with ritualistic artifacts and symbols. The walls were covered in the same intricate markings Emily had identified. In the center of the room was a large, ornate mirror, its surface dark and foreboding. Dr. Frost examined the mirror closely, her expression grave. "This mirror is a conduit," she said. "Gregory used it to communicate with entities from other realms. We need to be extremely careful." Daniel nodded. "We have to seal this room and destroy the mirror. It's too dangerous to leave intact." The team prepared for the task, gathering the necessary materials and protective charms. They worked methodically, their combined knowledge ensuring they made no mistakes. As they began the ritual to seal the room, the mirror's surface shimmered, and a dark, swirling vortex appeared. The room filled with an overwhelming sense of dread, and shadows seemed to pour from the mirror, coalescing into a dark figure. The entity, a remnant of Gregory's dark experiments, radiated malevolent energy. "You dare to challenge me?" The figure hissed, its voice echoing with centuries of malice. Daniel and the team stood their ground, their protective charms glowing brightly. "We will not let you harm anyone," Daniel declared. "Your reign of terror ends here." The figure laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers down their spines. "You cannot defeat me. I am eternal." Dr. Frost stepped forward, holding the crucifix that had been used in previous confrontations. "In the name of all that is holy, we banish you from this place," she intoned, her voice steady and resolute. The crucifix glowed with an intense light, and the figure recoiled, its form flickering. The team chanted in unison, their voices rising in defiance. The light from the crucifix grew brighter, filling the room with a radiant glow. The dark figure howled in fury, its form disintegrating under the holy light. The vortex in the mirror began to collapse, the dark energy dissipating. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the room grew still. As the final echoes of the dark entity faded, the team completed the ritual, sealing the room and destroying the mirror. The air was filled with a sense of relief and triumph. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious. With the dark mirror destroyed and the hidden chamber sealed, the house at Ravenswood was finally free of its lingering malevolence. Daniel, Dr. Frost, Emily, and the rest of the team knew they had accomplished something extraordinary. They had not only uncovered the house's darkest secrets, but had also ensured it would remain a place of peace and learning. The house continued to attract visitors and researchers, drawn by its rich history and the story of its redemption. It stood as a testament to the power of knowledge, courage, and resilience. As the years passed, the house at Ravenswood became a symbol of hope and perseverance. Daniel and his team continued their work, dedicated to uncovering the truths hidden in the shadows and bringing light to the darkest corners of history. The house, once a place of horror and fear, had been transformed into a beacon of knowledge and healing. It remained vigilant, ready to face whatever new challenges the future might bring, confident in the strength and courage of those who called it home. But even as it stood in peace, the house remembered its past. It had seen many families and many stories, each leaving their mark. And though the darkness had been dispelled, the house knew that its story was far from over. Though the house at Ravenswood enjoyed a period of tranquility, echoes of the past occasionally surfaced, whispering of untold stories and hidden secrets. The town had grown used to the house's presence, and the community began to see it as a place where history and mystery coexisted. Daniel, now middle-aged, continued to lead the research center with unwavering dedication. Emily had become his trusted partner, and together they published numerous papers and books detailing their findings. The house, with its labyrinth of secrets, never ceased to amaze them. One spring afternoon, a letter arrived at the research center. It was from a distant relative of Gregory Blackwood, a woman named Annabel Thornton. She had inherited some old family belongings and believed they might be of interest to the team. Intrigued, Daniel and Emily invited her to visit. Annabelle Thornton arrived with a suitcase filled with artifacts, letters, journals, and personal items that had belonged to the Blackwood family. As she laid them out on the table, the team felt a palpable sense of anticipation. These items could shed new light on the house's enigmatic past. One particular journal caught Emily's eye. It was bound in black leather and appeared to be Gregory Blackwood's personal diary, spanning his later years. Flipping through the pages, Emily noticed that the entries became increasingly erratic and desperate. "This could be crucial," she said, her voice tinged with excitement. "It might contain the key to understanding Gregory's final days and the full extent of his experiments." Emily and Daniel spent hours reading through Gregory's diary. The entries revealed a man descending into madness, consumed by his obsession with the supernatural. He wrote of visions, voices, and encounters with entities from beyond the veil. His final entries were filled with cryptic references to a great darkness and the one who waits. One entry, dated just days before his death, mentioned a hidden chamber beneath the house, a chamber even deeper than the one they had previously discovered. Gregory claimed this chamber was the source of his power and the gateway to the other realm. "We have to find it," Daniel said, determination etched on his face. "If there's another chamber, it could hold answers we've been seeking for years." The team began their search, using every resource at their disposal. They mapped the house and its surroundings, looking for any anomalies or hidden spaces. As they explored, they found subtle clues hidden in the architecture, symbols carved into the woodwork, faint markings on the walls. One evening, as they examined the basement, Emily found a loose brick in the far corner. Behind it was a small alcove containing an old, rusted key. The key was engraved with the same symbol that had appeared in Gregory's journal. "This must be it," Emily said, her eyes shining with excitement. Using the key, they unlocked a hidden door in the basement floor. The door creaked open to reveal a narrow, winding staircase leading deep into the earth. The air grew colder as they descended, the walls damp and covered in strange, luminous moss. At the bottom of the staircase, they entered a vast, cavernous chamber. The air was thick with an oppressive energy, and the walls were covered in ancient symbols and markings. At the center of the chamber stood a large, ornate pedestal upon which rested a dark, pulsating crystal. Dr. Frost, who had joined them for the exploration, examined the crystal closely. "This is a conduit," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's connected to the other realm. Gregory must have used it to harness and control the dark energies." As they approached the crystal, a shadowy figure materialized, its form indistinct and shrouded in darkness. "You should not have come here," it intoned, its voice echoing through the chamber. Daniel stepped forward, holding the crucifix that had become their symbol of hope and protection. "We are here to end this," he said firmly. "We will not let your darkness spread." The figure laughed, a cold, chilling sound. "You are too late. The gateway is already opening." The chamber trembled as the dark energy from the crystal began to pulse more intensely. Shadows writhed and twisted, and the oppressive atmosphere grew even thicker. The team formed a circle around the pedestal, their protective charms glowing with a faint light. "We need to destroy the crystal," Dr. Frost shouted over the rising cacophony. "It's the source of the gateway's power." Daniel raised the crucifix, its light growing brighter. "In the name of all that is holy, we banish you from this place," he commanded, his voice ringing with authority. The figure recoiled, its form flickering. The team chanted in unison, their voices merging into a powerful incantation. The light from the crucifix intensified, filling the chamber with a radiant glow. As the light touched the crystal, it began to crack and shatter, dark energy seeping out and dissipating into the air. The figure howled in fury, its form disintegrating under the holy light. The chamber shook violently, and the oppressive energy lifted. With a final, powerful incantation, the crystal exploded in a burst of light, and the gateway collapsed. The chamber grew still, and a sense of peace settled over the team. Emerging from the hidden chamber, the team felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, ensuring that the house at Ravenswood would remain a place of peace and knowledge. The artifacts Annabelle had brought provided a deeper understanding of Gregory Blackwood's tragic descent into madness. The team documented their findings, adding to the rich tapestry of the house's history. The house continued to attract visitors, drawn by its fascinating story and the promise of discovery. It stood as a testament to the power of knowledge, courage, and resilience, a beacon of hope for those seeking to understand the supernatural. As the years passed, Daniel and his team continued their work, dedicated to uncovering the truths hidden in the shadows and bringing light to the darkest corners of history. The house at Ravenswood, once a place of horror and fear, had been transformed into a beacon of knowledge and healing. But even as it stood in peace, the house remembered its past. It had seen many families and many stories, each leaving their mark. And though the darkness had been dispelled, the house knew that its story was far from over. In the heart of the house, in the chambers and corridors that had seen so much, new mysteries awaited discovery. The legacy of the house at Ravenswood lived on, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit and the endless quest for understanding. Despite the newfound peace, the house at Ravenswood was never entirely quiet. Faint whispers and soft murmurs seemed to echo through its ancient walls, hinting at stories yet untold. These whispers grew louder one stormy night when a bolt of lightning struck the house, briefly illuminating hidden symbols on the exterior walls. Emily was the first to notice the strange markings revealed by the lightning's flash. She quickly called Daniel and the rest of the team, their curiosity piqued by this new mystery. The markings were similar to those found in Gregory Blackwood's journal, but they appeared more complex and intricate. This could be another layer of Gregory's work, Emily suggested. Perhaps there's more to this house than we ever imagined. The team began their investigation anew, this time focusing on the exterior of the house. They meticulously examined every inch, using UV lights and other tools to uncover the hidden symbols. Their efforts revealed a large, intricate sigil that seemed to encircle the entire house. Dr. Frost studied the sigil carefully. "This is a protective ward," she explained. "It's designed to keep something in or out. But it looks incomplete. Perhaps Gregory never finished it, or someone disrupted it." The team decided they needed to complete the ward to ensure the house's protection. They gathered the necessary materials and prepared to restore the sigil, hoping to reinforce the house's defenses against any lingering dark forces. On a clear, moonlit night, the team gathered outside the house, ready to complete the sigil. They worked methodically, following Dr. Frost's instructions to the letter. As they traced the final lines, a strange energy filled the air, and the house seemed to hum with newfound power. As the last line was drawn, the sigil glowed brightly, and a wave of energy surged through the house. The whispers grew louder for a moment, then faded into silence. The air felt lighter, as if a great weight had been lifted. "We did it," Daniel said, relief evident in his voice. "The house is finally secure." With the ward complete, the team felt a renewed sense of purpose. They continued their research, delving deeper into the house's history and uncovering new secrets. One day, Emily stumbled upon an old, forgotten document hidden in the attic. It was a letter from Eleanor Blackwood, addressed to a friend and confidant. In the letter, Eleanor detailed her fears about Gregory's experiments and her efforts to stop him. She also mentioned a secret journal hidden somewhere in the house, which contained her notes and observations.